My name is Iñigo Varez. I'm a qualified lawyer in Spain, and I've recently passed the QLTS assessments. Well, since I obtained a double degree in law and journalism, I work uninterruptedly as a lawyer since 2012. I started first in a small national firm called Inigo, where I was assigned to the public law department. But after, as everyone became more optimistic about the economic perspective, I was then assigned to the corporate department, where I conducted commercial matters. After a couple of years in Inigo, Deloitte recruited me for a very important project involving a financial entity. I developed myself in restructuring corporate and giving banking solutions to the clients, and also working with the courts and with clients every day on an ongoing basis. First of all, I wasn't quite sure about taking the QLTS assessment. I was kind of looking for an LLM where to develop myself as a professional, but then I got to the brochure the QLTS assessment had in the web page, and I completely thought that it was made for me, that it was the certain step to take in my professional career to develop myself, not only as a professional, but also personally. I felt that let's say, to start studying something that different as the British law, you need preparation. You can't do it just on your own, reading and going through handbooks. So I decided to take the preparation with the QLTS assessment because they had, I found, a really useful and straightforward method of study. They really had clear what was the point in studying the QLTS assessment and how they were going how they were committed to the success of their students. So they convinced me in a couple of days. I'm actually convinced that without the QLTS school, I wouldn't have succeeded in preparing the assessment. I mean, the QLTS involves lots of subjects, lots of handbooks, lots of theory, and the QLTS, what has certainly provided me was with a really straightforward method of study and a way to approach to the subjects in a way that it's easy for someone who hasn't read or hasn't been practicing English law before. It was not only the daily attention they provide you as you keep in touch with your tutor. It was also the practical materials they download in the webpage, and they provide you also the recent developments in terms of law. They really care about you following a strict study timetable, so you have time to revise and to study all subjects. And they care about you. They know you are abroad, you're not in London, and that you need to feel their energy and their support to succeed in preparing the exam. Well, as everybody might know, being a lawyer is a highly demanding profession, so it's really difficult to find the spare time to study. What I did most was to wake up 2 hours earlier than usual and study before going to work. Then on the weekdays, I usually found time during lunchtime to go a bit through the notes and maybe just prepare a mock exam or something. And the weekends, I devoted about 6-7 hours per day to tough study, because it's when you find the most spare time. Yeah, definitely. They give this really huge importance to the formation and academic background, because as everyone knows, being a lawyer involves a lot of formation, ongoing formation. So they were really keen on asking me every week how was it going. They were interested about the subjects I was studying, and also they gave me 2 spare weeks to do the exam and sort of to be relaxed and to chill out before the assessment. So yeah, they were quite supportive with that. Well, you never feel 100% confident when you arrive to such a tough exam as the QLTS assessment, but I felt I've given all I had. I mean, I had been studying for over a year and a half. I have revised for thousands of hours, and when I arrived to the exam, all my doubts were based on how was it going to be the exam, not how well prepared I was and how good I was in facing the exam. It was mostly a question of the atmosphere, but not about the preparation. It's been only a couple of months since I was announced that I passed the QLTS assessment, so certainly my role hasn't changed that much. I am optimistic and I have good perspectives for my future. I think that by being qualified as an English solicitor could certainly raise my professional opportunities, and I think my firm will certainly know that. I do think that motivation is an important fact in order to succeed in the QLTS assessment. You have to be confident about your possibilities. You must not surrender when you face difficulties. You have to keep on going, feeling like it's like a marathon, that every step is important. And I also have improved my capacity in drafting skills, in conversation, engaging with clients, and also in litigation, facing a court. You must be a genius to pass, especially the OSCE, without the preparation involved and without the help of the QLTS school. MCT, it's more of a studying exam. I mean, you really need to go through the books, you really need to pass the mock test, and that's it. But you will need the fundamental help that the QLTS school provides you to pass the OSCE, because it involves oral exams, it involves interviewing, it involves advocacy, and especially if you haven't acted before, for example, a British court, you will need the tips and you will need the help that the QLTS tutor will provide you. I would highly recommend that everyone planning to go through the assessments takes a long preparation. I mean, especially if you are working at the same time, you really need to be capable of having some spare time, of having some free time, of not being just involved in work and in examining yourself, because you won't get good results. I would recommend that if you're starting to prepare with 6-7 months in advance, that will be a good choice, because if you start preparing with less margin, you're certainly going to be stressed and your performance is going to be less good. The QLTS assessment will be recommendable to all lawyers who feel highly motivated to developing themselves as professionals. The QLTS assessment gives you like a really broad view of law overall in a global system. So all lawyers who need to be prepared to face global challenges will be they will be good candidates to pass the QLTS assessment. And I would strongly recommend to all of those who want to pass the QLTS assessment to join the QLTS school, because their method for me is perfect for a person who needs to combine hard work and study. And you're going to be able to complement both things and still get time to unwind and to relax. So I would highly recommend QLTS school for those who have highly demanding jobs but still want to perform properly in the assessments. I would think that attitude, motivation, and curiosity will be the most important things a lawyer needs to have among his skills right now. You need to be tenacious as well, because sometimes in this complex and global world we're facing, the solution doesn't come in an easy way. You also need to have the capacity to anticipate to the problems. Nowadays, compliance is more important than solving a problem in court. Extrajudicial solutions are in our daily basis. So a proper lawyer, a modern lawyer, needs to anticipate and to propose solutions before the problem arises.